It is during 400 AD, after a period of enlightenment and progress, when Germanic tribes invade the Western Roman Empire. With the fall of Rome, European life will change and seemingly descend into what is known as the Dark Ages. What are the Dark Ages? Coined by Francesco Petrarch, the Dark Ages, also known as the Early Middle Ages, is the period of time from 400 to 1000 AD, after the fall of the Western Roman Empire. They were called the Dark Ages because historians knew little about this period. Compared to ancient Greece and Rome, the Dark Ages had no great leaders or accomplishments, and so it was labeled as dark. Many years later, historians would learn that these times weren't actually dark at all. How did life change during the Dark Ages? Soon after the fall of the Western Roman Empire, due to a mix of Germanic peoples, Roman traditions were forgotten, and life suffered a drastic change. In the chaos that Rome left, the medieval church grew as the political structure of Western Europe. Rulers during this time drew power from the relationship with the church, which meant that European monarchs could not monopolize power, and this carried on throughout the Middle Ages. Culturally, the early Middle Ages was a thriving period, with the church encouraging reading, learning, and art. Agriculture also flourished. The heavy plow and the horse collar caused prosperity and an agricultural boom. Steady advances in science and math were made as well, though slower than previously. But how did life change in regards to money? After the corruption in Rome and its eventual collapse, Western Europe suffered economically. Merchants found themselves being continuously invaded by people, slowing trade. People had less trust in money after Rome's poor economic decisions. As a result, they turned to an agricultural lifestyle and an old economic system, bartering. At this point, the church stepped in and helped develop the political system of the early Middle Ages. During this time, rulers gave land to barons, who in turn taxed peasants and serfs and had them pay rent to live in their manors. Barons then paid taxes to the king. Coins and currency weren't used for these taxes and rent, though. Instead, serfs either worked in the manor, joined the baron's army, or offered necessities. Since most people lived an agricultural lifestyle, managing the land and offering food to barons was another form of rent. Barons paid taxes to the king by providing troops for the king whenever he needed them. But if everyone used the barter system, how did people become wealthy? Rather than having lots of money, other means of wealth were used in the Middle Ages. Owning land was how kings achieved power. Middle and lower class people bartered or bought goods they needed in local markets, while lords and kings taxed the exchanges. The church also asked for people to pay money for penance. After years of recovery, the economy did begin to stabilize, with people earning income in the form of metal coins. Metal coins constantly changed, from silver to gold and even copper. Fiat currency was also used for large transactions as a promise of money. By the Middle Ages, the world was trading and flourishing. Overall, the early Middle Ages rediscovered bartering and took a step away from money. This seemed to be less advanced than previous generations, but in reality, it was an economic change fit after the destruction of the world around them.